Hey friends, welcome back to the channel. Welcome to today's video. It's going to be a bit of a take you along with me sort of video. So I guess kind of a plan with me video, although I am doing things very different this year, is I am trying to do kind of a once a month planning routine. This time it's going to be a little different because it's going to be 2 months, but otherwise my goal is to not plan all month other than this time. And so I have the day, my kids are at my in-laws, I have a whole list. I'll show you. I have a whole list. I have my computer. I have all of my things ready for planning day, and I'm going to take you guys with me. I hope it's fun and entertaining to see how I do this, but I have found such value in planning once a month. It has definitely been a game changer for me. So let me take you through kind of my plan, and then let's get into it. Okay guys, I have no idea how to film this sometimes. Here's my list. I could flip the camera around. I'm just feeling a little bit lazy and I don't really want to do that. I'm just going to tell you the first thing on my list has to do with my calendar. And basically this is where I always start. I pretty much always do things in the same order. It's just logical how my brain works. Is I want to start with planning my month. I want to start big picture and then go in. And so I'll start with kind of adding different things like our nature days or any field trip days. I want to figure out which weeks of Sonlight we're planning on doing and then see if I'm doing anything extra, because this time I think I'm going to be doing a Thanksgiving unit, which the reason is because I have been collecting resources, Thanksgiving resources from like 4 different creators, and I'm so excited to share like a comparison video with you guys, and then I just want to do one myself. So I'll be sharing that with you guys. But that's my first plan, is I need to kind of line everything out and then I'll work through the rest of my list. But this is probably the most important, is to get the framework for the next 2 months, pretty much up till Thanksgiving. So yeah, I think that is about what I have to show you now. I will keep touching base with you, especially when I change plans, but I will let you see what I'm doing. Okay, so the first thing I am planning on doing is switching out my calendar. So I have previously shared that I'm using the Sonlight planner this year, and I love the fact that I can kind of put it in and out and I can include it with my instructor's guide. So I'm going to do that first. And then one thing I wanted to mention about the Sonlight planner, which I am loving, is at the very end of each month, it has these like August review, and I have been loving it because it's been allowing me to kind of think about what's happened and think about kind of how we can improve, things like that. And I just love that I can add extra sheets to it as well. So I'm taking out August, I'm putting in October and November, and we'll go from there. And then the next thing I want to do is fill out kind of the monthly calendars. So now I did that, and next thing I want to do is adjust my Sonlight instructor's guides. And so in my big planner here, I have everything. I have the maps, but mostly I have all the guides and all the history, Bible literature, different things like that. And so I want to see where we're at, and I want to also kind of plan out how many weeks I need to add into here and where we'll be roughly by the time we get to Thanksgiving. Okay, so the next thing I realized I had to do was that I had to count up the days that I needed for Sonlight, because the thing about how I run my homeschool is I don't run like 1 week of Sonlight on one Monday through Friday week. I mean, first off, we only have a 4-day Sonlight, but the other thing is we just get off. If we have nature day or if we have field trip day, we're not doing Sonlight that day, so I just shift it to the next day. And I have found that keeps things less stressful for me. So what I just did now is I counted 29 days that are not enrichment school days, not nature days, or anything like that. And I'm going to plan for all of that. Now, I'm not worried about having to do all of that. I'm not going to put specific Sonlight days on my calendar because that would stress me out. But what I want to do is I want to make sure that if, say, for instance, we did everything, like we didn't get sick, we didn't have an off day, nothing, I would have all the information I needed. I would have all my instructor's guides. I would have all of my worksheets in my kids' binders. I would have it all set up and ready in case we did 29 more days between now and Thanksgiving. So that's really important to me. I don't think I'm going to probably get that much because I'll probably need a mental health day or we'll have a sick day, but I want to have everything I can. So next I need to see how many days that would mean for Sonlight, because I was just looking and we are on week 9, day 4. So basically, if I can do the math in my head, 29 divided by 4, so that's about 7 weeks, right? In a couple days, 7 weeks and 2 days. And so what that means is I will get through 7 more weeks, or 8 more weeks. I need to have at least 8 more weeks in here, not counting week 9, because we're going to finish that last one. I'll need 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Week 10 through 17. I mean the rest of week 9, but through 17. So there we go. That's what I had to answer for myself. So for HBL and science, I need weeks 10 through 17. So I just made myself a note of that. But Sonlight, language arts, we're doing differently, which I don't know if you caught my kind of update on language arts. I feel like I have a really good plan, but we're still holding it loosely. And like I said in that video, I'm planning on keeping a lot of the creative expression and some of the copy work, and I'm just not too worried about it. But with my daughter, I am going a little bit quicker, and I explained that in a different video because I was trying to get them to kind of the same spot so that they can come together with language arts when we get to HBLD. But that's neither here nor there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to figure those things out, and then I'm going to get my binder from back there, and I'm going to start filling things in. All right, I'm going to keep putting together my Sonlight instructor's guides. It really isn't taking me that long to do. I will definitely be speeding this up so that you guys don't have to watch all of it. But I'm trying to decide what to do with my son's language arts for Sonlight. Like I said, we moved to a lot of the Simply Charlotte Mason material. And so I'm trying to decide what to do if I want to speed up his Sonlight language arts so that I can try to get to language arts 3 for him. Anyway, I won't explain it all. It's not important, but I'm going to be doing that as well. And then I should have most of this filled out except for my twins. So I forgot to mention I have my preschoolers, and they also have their section in my instructor's guide, and they're just kind of, we're moving along on their stuff. I'm definitely not as intentional with them as I am with my big kids in the HBLB, but we're having a good time. So I'm going to switch all of those out. So I will try and do that quickly. And so I'm picking up stuff for my twins, and we have this one next, which is just so sweet. I love Tommy DePaulo. So this is Nana upstairs and Nana downstairs. So we have that slated for next. Now I'm going to put in some more stuff for them. So I realized my camera turned off while I was doing all of that because that was so much, but I finished out the twin section in here, and what I realized all I have left for my binder, for my kind of working binder, is to cut out timeline figures, because I've been doing this and putting them in baggies, and you guys, this saves me so much time, and we actually use our timeline on the week we're supposed to. So I'm going to do that really quick, as I'm going to look through all of my IG notes and look for the little timeline figure and cut out what I need to cut out. And then I'm going to transition to setting up my kids' daily work binders, which I have a whole video. I will put like a thumbnail right here where I go through the process of setting those up. I go in detail and I show you everything. So I'm not going to do that here because that's just a huge repeat. But I'm going to come back after that is all done, and I'm going to share a couple other things with you. So I'm going to share setting up our science experiments, collecting it all, maybe making lists and shopping lists and things like that. And then I also want to start adding a few things. So I'm also going to talk about adding in our picture study, our Simply Charlotte Mason picture study that I picked up. I have not added it yet. I was kind of waiting for this break, for this planning day to kind of figure out how I'm going to add it into our day. And so I have that. And then the other thing I have on my list is that I want to look for documentaries, which I'm really bad at doing this. And honestly, if I don't do it right now on like a planning day, I won't do it. But my kids love documentaries and they love to kind of watch little snippets of either science or history and learn a little bit more. So I want to try and find the time today before they come back. Those are kind of the 3 things I have left after the kids' working binders. So let me do timeline figures. Then I will probably transition you over to my kitchen so we can start collecting materials for science. So that's all done. Let me keep going on my list. Okay, hey friends. So I'm downstairs copying some stuff, obviously, and I just brought you with me. And the reason I'm copying, oh my gosh, I'll talk to you like this. So the reason I am copying a bunch of stuff is I'm copying our logic pages. So my son, I got him level 3, which I think was, I'm gonna talk and do this at the same time, which was for 3rd to 6th graders. And it was just too hard for him. He wasn't making kind of some of those mental leaps that he had to make that seemed very obvious to me, but I realized he's just in 3rd grade. So what I'm doing is I'm taking my daughter's level 2 sheets, which he already completed this book, but I think he can redo them. It's not like he's going to remember the answers or anything like that. I'm just doing this for his logic for this next chunk of time. Oh my gosh, my hair's driving me nuts. And yeah, I'm just copying it to do that. So we're making progress. I'm changing some things. I forgot that I was changing some things. Like I'm not including any of the Abeka reading comprehension or just regular sheets in his stuff. And so it's actually kind of less work for me to get his binders going. So it's really exciting. Anyway, I'll keep copying and I'll update you in just a bit. Okay guys, so I'm about 2 hours into this process and I have made a ton of progress. So like I said, I got all my IG set up, I got my own binder set up, I just got all the kids' binders set up. Like they're definitely a little heftier than normal because I am doing 8 weeks instead of 4 weeks, but that's okay. I have everything set up and I have pulled out all the papers. And so what I have here, my problem here is, well, it's not really a problem, but what I'm going to do right now is organize kind of what I'm saving. So I do a portfolio in my homeschool, and I like to save kind of snippets of their work. It's not for any legal requirements, although I feel like what would happen if I moved to a state where it does require it. I just kind of want to be overly cautious, I guess. And so I wanted to save it all, and I also want to see their progress. So I picked up this really cool basket at Target. I will try and find it and link it. One, it's really pretty and it fits on my bookshelf, which is kind of where I mentioned it last time because it was part of my homeschool room tour, but it has the file folder holder bars things. And so I can put file folders in. And so my plan is to take what I want to save and put it in that file system until the end of the year when I want to put it kind of in page protectors and put it in kind of an official portfolio. But this way I'm going through it now instead of then, because I feel like it's probably better to kind of almost take one sample per month than a ton. Okay, so that's it. I got it all. This is all a huge stack of recycling, so I'm gonna go do that right now. And then I'm gonna shift over to, let me check my list. Oh, science experiments. I'm gonna start collecting those and putting them in bags because that's been so nice. I feel like one of you actually mentioned that idea and I put it all together. And guys, I've done science experiments every week because the bags are already ready. So I'm gonna do that next. Okay, I hope you can hear me okay. But I was tired of standing over there in my kitchen, and so I came to my table and I am going to go through our science experiment book, go through our kits, and start putting them in sacks. Like this one's already kind of prepared. It has everything that it needs that either came in the kit or I needed to collect in my house. And then I'll have a small list, which I should go get right now, that I'm gonna make about anything that I need to pick up from the grocery store, so I can do that right now and put those things in the sacks, I guess if I can, unless they're perishable or something like that, then I'll make a note on whatever week it is. But let me hop in to doing that now. Okay, everybody, so I am really pretty much done with my list. It's kind of a long day and I am feeling tired and I don't really want to do more, but I do know that it really does help me feel set up and ready for the month. And so the only things I have left on here are to think about picture study, to think about my Thanksgiving unit study, and to pick documentaries. So I'm back at my computer and I pulled out our picture study, the one I picked up from Simply Charlotte Mason. I decided to do Monet, and what I'm trying to decide here is where to fit this, because I feel like we probably do have the ability to do it, and I know like it can be done in like 10 minutes a week or something like that. So it's more about where can I fit it in our current schedule, because I have found that Wednesday afternoons work really well for science experiments. Our art with artistic pursuits comes and goes. It depends on where we are in the week and if my kids are feeling like they want to do it. So I won't do it on those days, which are usually Mondays and Wednesdays. So maybe I'll fit this in on like a Tuesday afternoon or something when my little kids are at preschool. So I'm just gonna look through this, peruse through it, and see what my plans are, and then hop on my computer and find some documentaries, I think. Because my plan for Thanksgiving unit study, I probably won't officially decide what I'm doing until after I make the comparison video, because basically I have 4 Thanksgiving/autumn curriculum programs, whatever I want to call them, that were sent to me to do a kind of a comparison, so I could set up and talk about like how many days a week should you use it, what kind of books are they, things like that. And once I go through all of that enough to make a video, I'm sure I'll feel like I know which ones I want to use myself, because my plan for that is I probably am not going to like take off a month and do a Thanksgiving unit study. Our homeschool just doesn't work like that. Some people's do, and I think these resources are going to be perfect for those types of families, but I think they can also be adjusted for families like mine, where I do want to kind of keep our normal core stuff, i.e. Sonlight, going the whole time, but then there is Thanksgiving week. And I think there's like Monday, Tuesday, potentially Wednesday, depends on how much Thanksgiving prep I need to do, where we can just immerse ourselves into Thanksgiving. And I think I will not do math, not do reading type idea, and we'll just do kind of Thanksgiving stuff. And so for me, I'm probably going to squish whatever curriculum I decide to do into 2 or 3 days. And I'm really excited about that, but I have some time to decide on it. I did find some time in my schedule, so I will consider that item on my checklist done, and I will plan that a little bit more in the future. But I want to look a little bit at the guidebook for picture studies so I can wrap my head around how to do this. I saw, who was it? Abby in Rooted in Rest. I think one of her last day in the life videos, she showed how she does picture study with her kids, which seemed really simple and really sweet. And so maybe I'll rewatch that, make a few notes, and just give it a shot. I feel like I always build things up in my head. Do you guys do that? Build things up and be like, this is too hard to add. It's just too hard. And I don't think it will be. And I'm really impressed by these pictures, like the quality of the pictures in these little portfolios. They're just really pretty. Maybe I just really like Monet, and I really like art. So we're gonna do that. I don't think I need to do more here for you guys. I think I'll just wrap this up and consider it a very successful planning day. You guys, it really is helpful. I used to plan every Sunday, and I felt like I would just spend all Sunday planning, or I'd spend so much time, or I'd get so distracted that it would take a long time. And I've also shifted to kind of like do the next lesson, so I don't have to write it all down. So anyway, that is what I have for this video. I hope the insight into kind of what a planning day could look like has been helpful. If so, give it a thumbs up, support the channel, all those things. And otherwise, guys, I will see you guys in the next homeschool video. All right, take care.